Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about whether you should get the Apple Studio Display or not, and giving you my opinion on it and why is it hated, and talk about why is it hated so much. Because you've probably seen all the reviews on it on YouTube that a lot of people seem to dislike the new Studio Display, and I want to talk about why and give you my opinions on what do I generally think of it. Even though I don't have the product to review it, I basically know, because that display is generally the same as what my LG UltraFine 5K display. So let's begin. Okay, so I'm gonna give you two reasons probably on why is the LG UltraFine 5K so disliked. And one of the reasons is price. So if we look at the starting price of the LG UltraFine 5K, it starts from £1,500. If you want the Pro stand, you have to pay an extra £500, which brings the price up to £1,900. If you get the Visa mount, it's gonna stay the same as the starting price. Let's say you want the nano texture glass, you're gonna have to add an extra £250. So if you max out this thing, the display is gonna cost £2,150. Now, that is quite a lot of money for display. Not a lot of people are going to be buying a maxed out studio display. A lot of people are probably going to be getting the normal stand and the normal glass, in which this case, it does cost £1,500. Now, what are its alternatives of the LG UltraFine 5K, which we'll talk about? The second reason why the studio display is disliked is because of its features or the specs. Apple is essentially giving us the same display that they've been using since 2015 on their iMacs. It's the same 5K panel, the same IPS panel, the same resolution, 5K, P3 color gamut, 60 Hz. Yes, it does have 600 nits of brightness compared to the LG UltraFine's 500, but 100 nits of brightness, you will notice the difference, but it's not big. 500 nits of brightness in my room, in my studio, is more than enough brightness for me. And a lot of people are probably going to be sitting far away from their windows, so you should be seeing the display fine. But in case you're close to a window and when the sun is shining bright, those extra 100 nits could be useful. But yeah, as I said, the studio display has the same display that Apple has been using for 7 years now. And that's one of the reasons why it is disliked. Also, of course, the studio display has a 6-speaker sound system. Of course, it has a 12 megapixel camera, but it doesn't make up for it. Since a lot of issues have reported that the 12 megapixel camera, even though center stage works, it's actually, the quality of the webcam is trash. Well, not trash, but it's not how it's supposed to be. But Apple reported on this, and they will fix it with a software update. And other than that, exception of the new design, of course, compared to the LG, you get an aluminum enclosure with symmetrical bezels and stuff, which is nice. There's nothing much different. You still get 4 USB-C ports, 1 Thunderbolt port, which is occupied for to connect your Mac to the display. So you get the same 3 USB-C ports. Same display size, 27 inches, same resolution, same P3 color gamut, same 60 Hz. That's one of the reasons why the studio display is just disliked, because this is like an update of the LG UltraFine 5K. Of course, a lot of people are probably going to say that this is not a bad product, it's just not what we wanted. People asked for a cheaper, more simpler version of the Pro Display XDR, and that's what Apple gave you, a 5K 60 Hz display. You want a better display, you gotta pay the extra for the Pro Display XDR. Because I don't really understand, what do people want by something that is more simpler? Maybe they want 120 Hz, but that's gonna put it in a weird position. Maybe they want a mini LED, but mini LED is in the Pro Display XDR. So Apple basically tried to cut costs as much as they could to make it more affordable than the Pro Display XDR. And for people who don't want this crazy Pro Display XDR, this is your option. I understand that we want more, we wanted more, but to be honest, doesn't mean that the studio display is a bad product. I think it's a good display. It's 5K, which in the market for 5Ks, except for the LG UltraFine, you will not find any other 5K displays. Apple probably is the most popular 5K display manufacturer right now. So for what you're getting for the price, you're getting essentially a 5K monitor, and that's could be alone a big factor for someone. Yes, it doesn't have 120 Hz. Yes, it doesn't have mini LED, but it's not a big deal. I don't really crave for 120 Hz. Mini LED is nice. I do like the kind of an OLED but not an OLED display like on my iPad Pro and my MacBook Pro, but it's not, again, a big deal. So essentially, you're getting a pretty good monitor. The question comes, should you buy this or save a couple of cash and get the LG UltraFine? I would probably, if I had the cash, I would just go ahead and buy the Mac Studio display because I just like it more in terms of design and stuff, but these are little nitpicks. If we're subjectively talking about really saving money, of course, I would just grab an LG UltraFine 5K. I have an LG UltraFine 5K myself, and I've been using this monitor for 2 years now. And I can say that it is a wonderful display. And if you go on the market right now, an LG UltraFine 5K new costs about £1,350. The Apple Studio display costs about £1,500. The price difference is £150. Not quite a lot, is it? So for some people, the speakers, the webcam, the design, those extra £150 can be justified. And probably I would go ahead and just pay the extra 150 to get a more newer display, because the LG UltraFine 5K is now a 6-year-old display. It's the same display being used now for 6 years and with no updates. And for 150 pounds, you're getting better speakers, a better webcam. Now, truth be told, I don't use the webcam on my LG UltraFine, nor do I use the speakers on the LG UltraFine. I use headphones. So to me, it doesn't really make sense. But the advantage of the LG UltraFine is it comes with a height adjustable stand, which you don't get on the studio display. If you want that, as I said, you gotta pay the extra £500, which brings the price of the display to £1,900. If you want height adjustment, which essentially does also make it more comparable to the LG UltraFine. And this is where big differences come in. You essentially have a £550 price difference, and that is quite a big price difference. And these little, the webcam and the speakers just don't justify it for me. And that's where I would just pick the LG UltraFine 5K. In fact, if you actually go to the market right now for these, you can find a used one for £700. Which is quite crazy for a 5K display. And using the LG UltraFine 5K for 2 years now, I can confirm it's a good display, and I would recommend if you're in the market for a 5K monitor and a Mac monitor, because it is especially the best Mac monitor out there in terms of support. But yeah, these are my essential thoughts. I don't show the hate of the Apple Studio display. I understand people wanted more, but what more? Because Apple gave you enough. I think you get a 5K monitor, you get 600 nits of brightness, P3 color gamut, 27 inches. I think that's more than enough, and that way Apple tries to keep the cost as low as possible and makes it more affordable. And let's be honest, you don't really need that 120 Hz, or you don't really need that mini LED. So I think if you want those features, just wait for another Apple display to come out, maybe next year, I guess. So essentially, to put it simply, unless you don't mind the height adjustment, I would go for the studio display. But if you want height adjustability, that's where the big price difference comes in. I would just go for the LG UltraFine 5K display and leave it as is. These are my thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comments. What do you think of the Apple Studio display? Do you think is it worth to spend the extra and get the studio display, or save a couple of cash and just get the LG UltraFine 5K? Let me know in the comments. What do you think, guys? Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.